I think that Billy has enjoyed. I'm not sure. I have not talked to him about this yet today, but I have seen some of his social media activity. And the sheer indignance that Bill Cowher and Rex Ryan had about the idea that someone could do Rex Ryan's job just walking off the street. The rage that these people felt on behalf of protecting the sacred coaching system as Jeff Saturday burps and farts his way into the room and then comes out and says, "I'm not afraid of anybody. All I'm going to do is change quarterbacks, and you watch how I motivate Matt Ryan to produce what I am saying is the most holy shit moment of yesterday. It was not Justin Jefferson. It was not Tua. It was not Justin Fields. It was Matt Ryan running for 39 yards because Jeff Saturday was coaching the Colts.
He could scoot. Matty Ice. I mean,
you got to be shitting me. An alligator could have popped out of the turf, and I would have been less surprised than Matt Ryan running for 39 yards, eating a human being. Matt Ryan, put it on the poll, please, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Did you think there was a possibility on this earth that Matt Ryan would scamper for 39 yards?
that might be the most rushing yardage he's had in a single season. It might eclipse it. I have to look it up.
His career combined all his years.
You can celebrate Justin Jefferson's catch if you want to. I'm celebrating Tom Brady going out for a pass at 45 years old and falling on his face. You guys want to celebrate athletic achievement today? You can. But these coaches, Mike, what's the sound that we have here? Let's start with Joe Thomas, because this kept getting more and more indignant as the week went on, Stugotz, where Jeff Saturday is not qualified for that job.
I mean, what is the job, really? It's be there and just smile for the rest of the season, and then ultimately you're going to get replaced. Like, just don't mess up too badly, and even if you do, we'll get a good pick. Like, this is one of those, like, things where everybody's, like, so upset that he cut the line, right? But, like, do you really want that job if you've never been a head coach before? Because you know that that's not going to lead to him being a permanent coach, and they're just going to replace that person. So, like, if that's your one shot, you want it to be like that, like the end of the year, where you know you're going to get replaced by someone else anyway?
I think it's the cutting of the line by a former player who's white, where there's just a lack of these opportunities. And like, the argument is that you'd never see a black player get this sort of, like, position, even though you're right, Billy.
I think that you would, though. Like, I think that this is how, like, what they end up doing sometimes is, like, they'll give this job to a minority knowing full well we're not going to make this person the head coach long term.
Yeah,
Well, Billy, Reggie Wayne is a position coach, I believe, on that team.
But it's a qualified minority. Jeff Saturday doesn't have a resume for this position.
So let me present my theory on this, which is if you were trying to have, as we talked about in the Big Suey, the concept of the good losses. I want to end this season losing as much as possible, but I don't want to tip my hat that I'm tanking, right? So there's two things going on here. One, I have to hire someone who I hope is not going to be qualified enough to mess around and make us win.
The reports are that Irsay bypassed all the decision makers.
Of course.
And just put in place the guy that he wanted who had no qualifications.
One, but two is, why would he pick that guy, right? Well, part of it is no qualifications, so he's probably not going to be a good coach. But the other part of it is, and this is great, if I'm in on a tank job, I need someone who's going to be my inside man who's in on it too. Am I going to pick some guy who's trying to make a name for himself and be a coach? And it's like, no.
Yeah, but you don't know.
Pick someone that I know.
Jeff Saturday's not signing up for losing.
Yeah.
He only knows winning.
he literally did.
I think you've been doing too many episodes of Basketball Illuminati.
I'm telling you.
I think Jim Irsay genuinely believes that Jeff Saturday is the right guy.
And so far, he's right.
Did you guys hear his press conference when he was introduced?
Yeah,
Jeff
the upper
Saturday.
quartile.
No, I'm talking about Jeff Saturday's part, where he's like, I don't know if I really want to do this. I'm like, what? Who says that?
He knows.
No,
he said he doesn't want to do this. Is the answer? Like he'll do this for half a year for his friend and get paid and whatever. He's not going to be back next year.
That's the point, Billy. He's doing it. Why? Because he's doing a solid for his friend to do what? To make sure the mission is accomplished. Third eye open, guys. Come on. Football
They won.
All right, keep that on Basketball Illuminati. We're doing a show here.
There's two things at play, though, with all these people like Rex Ryan and all the people on ESPN complaining about it. It's like there's the argument that qualified minority candidates don't get these positions. And even if they're set up to fail, having interim head coach on your resume is obviously a good thing to have on your resume. But then there's also the argument that like he skipped a bunch of people in line, and that offends the coaching fraternity who believe you have to pay your dues.
Sure.
Those are two different things. I think one of those arguments is legitimate, and the NFL is being sued because of it. And the other one seems like a bunch of salty former coaches who didn't get the call from Jim Irsay.
But this is Joe Thomas, okay? This is not a former coach. Joe Thomas, again, this escalated over the week. People had their takes on Jeff Saturday is hired. Well, the first place people went was there, Jessica. Like, man, there's no such thing as even a Deion Sanders getting this kind of opportunity where you go one of 32 jobs and you've coached high school. That's unbelievable. Jeff Saturday comes out and he puffs out his chest. It might as well have been his hairy chest to do that press conference. The rest of him was not needed there. He was just banging against the microphone. I am here to bump into people, knock them over. I might be terrible at this job. I don't know. Like he said that.
Here's my hairy chest.
I might be terrible, but I'm going to just go straight forward into the hurricane, and I'm going to be unafraid. And people got more and more indignant. Joe Thomas has never done this on air, to my recollection. What I'm about to play for you, Joe Thomas is reserved. Joe Thomas plays the game the right way. Media, he's a pillar. Joe Thomas is pissed off that this job went to Jeff Saturday.
When you hire your drinking buddy to be the head coach of an NFL football team, it is one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen in my entire life to the commitment, the lifestyle, and the experience that it takes to be an NFL coach, any coach, much less the head coach of the Indianapolis Football Colts. You have got to be kidding me that this is something that Jim Irsay and Jeff Saturday, who's not blameless for accepting the job, could have talked and decided that this was the best thing for the Indianapolis Colts at this juncture of the season. I'm going to tell you a quick story. I lived right next door to Rob Chudzinski. He was our head coach for one season in Cleveland. The commitment that it takes to be a head coach in the NFL is beyond what people can even comprehend unless you've been in that locker room. He saw his children one time every week. That was Friday afternoon. We would get off about 2 o'clock. He would stay till 3. He would pick his kids up from school. He had 4 kids. He would go get ice cream with them. Then he'd come home. Then he would drop them off and go back to the office.
Mighty presumptuous that Jeff Saturday's life also wouldn't be ruined by football.
By the way,
I think he's plenty capable.
There's a lot in that, but let me start.
The drinking buddy right at the beginning.
Let me start
That's
with
a shot at Irsay, right?
No, look, all that's light. Let's start with Jeff Saturday is not blameless here. I'm sorry. If Jim Irsay called me right now, come be the head coach of the Colts, guess what, guys? To hell with this show. I'm out of here. I'm going to do that job. Why should he have blame for accepting money and a position that he's not qualified for?
Respect the position.
No.
Is what Joe
Sorry.
I'm with you. Joe Thomas is wrong, but respect the position.
Shut up, Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
How about that? Respect that position. Shut up.
One thing about football, we've seen this, we see this in hockey, we see this in basketball, we see this in baseball, where players just basically go right into a managerial job and they don't have any coaching.
Steve Nash.
I think it's a timing on this. Because if Jeff Saturday, if Jeff Saturday were hired throughout an interview process at the beginning of the season, it'd be a conversation piece. It wouldn't be what it is right now. Josh McCown and Hines Ward got opportunities with the Houston Texans where it looked like they might actually get that job. It was the same school of thought. But to do it in the middle of the season, when you have a staff that features Gus Bradley, people that have done this before, in the middle of the season is kind of odd.